tolerances.
The following is a special presentation of ABC Sports.
ABC Sports presents, live in its 29th season, the Professional Bowlers Tour. Today from North Olmsted, Ohio, it's the $160,000 Budweiser Open. In our first game, seven-time champion Tom Baker of Buffalo is seeking his first PBA win since 1986. His opponent, California's Walter Ray Williams Jr., was the 1986 PBA Player of the Year. That winner will face last week's champion and hometown favorite, Jim Pencak. In the semifinal game, three-time 1989 champion Ballard Jr. of Texas looks for his sixth title. And our tournament leaders making his first PBA championship round appearance, John Mazza of Michigan. That's our outstanding field for today's Professional Bowlers Tour telecast.
Hello, everybody. How y'all tonight? This is Alan Freed, the old king of the Moondoggers, and it's time again for another of your favorite rock and roll sessions as you enjoy the Moondog Show.
Cleveland rock, Cleveland rock, Cleveland rock, Cleveland rock.
The Professional Bowlers have traveled to Cleveland, Ohio, which will be the site of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum, construction starting this fall. Speaking of construction, this is a city of change. The old is being renovated. The new is very prominent in downtown Cleveland. You're looking at the signature of Cleveland for many years, the 52-story tall Terminal Tower. Adjacent to the tower is this monument commemorating General Moses Cleveland, the man that founded the city in 1796. The state of Ohio, sports-minded. Both the college and pro football halls of fame are in the state. And now here in Cleveland, construction begins this fall for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum. Why Cleveland? The phrase rock and roll was coined by the disc jockey, the late Alan Freed, both in this city and New York. He'll be enshrined along with names like Chuck Berry, the Platters, the Temptations, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Elvis Presley, and many, many more. And speaking of rolling, our pro bowlers have been doing just that at Buckeye Lanes. To find out more about our Final Five, let's go there now. Here's Nelson Burton Jr.
Thank you, Chris. Well, they're rocking the house here at Buckeye Lanes for the Budweiser Open. Now, this is one of the most knowledgeable crowds we have in championship play. The Cleveland fans have been around for years, and they really know their bowling. We're only a short minute away from that first match. Now, historically, this bowling center has favored the left-handers. In fact, in 1989, all 5 finalists were left-handers. But it's not true today. We have a left-hander in the number 1 position, and we have 4 tough veterans right behind him in the other 4 positions. But I think the man to beat is the man in the announce booth with me right now, is the man who won the national championship last week, Jim Pencak. And Jim, it was a tough road last week. Was it a little bit easier to the top 5 this week?
Actually, I felt the pressure a little bit more this week with all the fans behind me. But after the support came and I made some key shots to make the show, I feel really confident with a lot of support today.
Well, how about it? You got your whole group here? You think they'll make the difference?
Well, just like being in the dog pound, when the football teams come into town, they don't have much chance when they start throwing dog bones at them.
All right, Jimmy, thank you. And let's take a look at how to play the championship pair today. First place, there's oil 45 feet down the lane. Heavy oil this week, right down the middle of the lane, and it's dry in the back end. Now, what the PBA has done to equalize and change the condition has put oil in all this zone on the right, the last 7 boards, and also on the left to equalize it. And if a player throws a ball out there, it's apt to slide off in the gutter. It's a very demanding shot. Now, the left-hander, John Mazza, in the number 1 position, is playing right around the second arrow with a nice break into the 1-2 pocket. And all the right-handers are playing around the third arrow. Fellas like Pencak and Ballard are playing the big hook around the third arrow. Walter Ray Williams Jr. is playing around the third arrow, but he's very straight towards the pocket. Chris, there's some big money at stake, so let's see how the prize fund breaks down.
In the second Budweiser Open, second and last of this year, 31,000 the winner, 16, 8,500, 7, and 6. So, 2 veterans go head-to-head here in our first match. Tom Baker will be shooting first, 35-year-old native of Buffalo, New York. Congenial, personable Tom Baker. Smooth stroke, smooth player, first shot.
Period.
With his RF mic, you heard him get his wish. It did carry. Now, 30-year-old Walter Ray Williams with 5 titles. The 1986 PBA Player of the Year, 4-time World Horseshoe pitching champion. Pitching now the 16-pound ball. So we're all even, Bo, after 1 frame.
Well, Chris, 2 real good players, and I expect some very good scores here. This was one of the highest scoring bowling centers we had last year, and I expect more of the same today.
Walter Ray, 6'2", 180 pounds. He has won his 5 titles from various positions. Seated 4th here today. And Walter Ray giving a long, hard look to what you're seeing, the 6-7-10. Wow is right.
Well, just drifting high on the left-hand lane, the players feel that the left-hand lane hooks a little bit more. You see Walter Ray quickly jumping up on the approach with another ball to try to slide the 6-7-10 across.
And yes. Difficult conversion. Made to look easy by one of the most colorful professional bowlers. Watch again.
Walter Ray gets the ball to the right of the 6-pin, just nicks it, drives it over in the 7. The ball takes out the 10. Great shot to start the match, 2nd frame.
Tom Baker, 7th last week, the PBA National.
Carry. Smile.
It's nice to have our players mic'd with the RF. You see the little mic there on the left lapel, and here's the shot.
The good style of Tommy Baker, the good high follow-through. He throws kind of a spinner shot where a hand goes over the top of the ball, as you saw in that shot of his form. And Baker, when he can keep the slow speed and keep his rhythm, is one of the toughest players on the tour. He can really shoot the big numbers.
And now Tom Baker has 3 in a row in our very first match. Going against Walter Ray Williams, the winner will meet Jim Pencak. And then on to the Firestone defending champion Ballard Jr. And then to John Mazza, our tournament leader, yet to get that first PBA title. This man has 5. Beat Tom Baker 235-226 in match play. Beautiful shot. For Walter Ray, this is his 25th television appearance, first of this year.
Walter Ray Williams, 5-step delivery, good pronounced push away, controls that arm swing a little bit at the top of the swing, and tucks it in next to that left foot. You can see he's playing that deep inside line, has a nice, solid follow-through, and he can put some pressure right back on Baker if he can strike here in the 4th frame. Look at the wide grip of Walter Ray Williams Jr., the full grip, fingertips just in the ball.
Leaving the solid 8 on the left lane.
The old-timers used to say, Chris, that solid 8 was the only true tap in bowling. We know now with the urethane bowling balls, we get the solid 9 also. Disappointing for Walter Ray because he wanted to keep pressure here on the 4th frame on Tommy Baker.
Graduate of Cal Poly, degree in physics. And he had that line figured out perfect. Spare, the 4th frame, Walter Ray Williams, trailing by 20. We'll be back.
For years now, hospitals have been using Tylenol more than all aspirin and ibuprofen brands combined. For instance, back in 1985, hospitals used Tylenol 4 times more than aspirin or ibuprofen. But what about today, when there are so many more of these brands available? The fact is, hospitals now use Tylenol 8 times more than all those other brands. The rate has doubled. Tylenol, now more than ever, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
We're in the first game of the finals of the Budweiser Open, North Olmsted, Ohio. Tom Baker going against Walter Ray Williams. Tom, next to bowl, has a 3-bagger up shooting in the 4th frame. Here's a 35-year-old that last won in Rochester, 1986. Walter Ray seated there at the left of your screen. Tom wearing his power black shirt. Comes up on the right lane, a man that fidgets. And there are reasons for it as the clock is running.
Has had surgery on that right hand and often has trouble getting a good grip.
So Tom Baker now has 4 in a row. Winner of this game will meet Jim Pencak, who won the PBA National Championship last week in Toledo.
Tommy Baker likes the lanes slick or oily. In these 6 rounds here in the tournament, he averaged about 10 pins a game more in the morning than he did at night. So it's very important for him to hit the lanes when they're slick in the early matches.
So it's a 5-bagger for Tom Baker. Apparently loves this format, 42-game format, and there you see Lisa Baker and their daughter, 6-year-old Bianca. That is Liz Pencak next to Lisa Baker. Here's a bachelor. Much sought after, too. Well, a nice lazy break for Walter Ray, the horseshoe pitching champion. He talks about being on TV, but not in the bowling finals earlier to us today.
Well, it started about a year and a half ago at the Ohio State Fair. George Bush was campaigning for president and pitched horseshoes there. And they got some tape of that, and I was in the background while he was pitching horseshoes, and HBO made a thing, not necessarily the news, where they made a spoof where he was throwing a horseshoe and hits his wife in the head, and that's been shown on CNN and as late as this last Monday on the 4th Annual Comedy Awards.
Okay, Walter Ray Williams Jr., 4-time world champion, finished 3rd last year in South Dakota. His brother was 4th. Here's a man in 1st in this first game with 5 in a row, leading by 30. Here's the 6th frame. Okay, Tom Baker with 15 career perfect 300 games. We've reached that halfway point, Nelson. It's always fun to point out that true value, should we have a perfect 300 game, will give the player $100,000, and AC Delco will put that same winner into the seat of a 1990 Chevrolet Corvette.
Not so bad. Baker, used to 300 games, has set a record that nobody will ever break on the PBA Tour. He bowled a 300 game in match play in Denver, and he was tied by Pete Weber, 300 to 300.
So he's gone beyond the halfway point. Lisa cheering him on. All right, a 7-bagger, and that puts so much pressure on the opponent because Walter Ray Williams has not had that unsuccessful a first game. Did that wonderful 6-7-10 conversion. He has 4 strikes. He has 2 up, shooting in the 7th. Passing over, leaving the 6-9-10, which we don't see that often.
Kind of an unusual spare is correct, and Walter Ray, all he has to do is get the ball over where it makes sure it knocks out the 6 and doesn't chop the 6-9 off the 10. Pretty easy spare, but he's trailing in the match by over 50 pins.
Okay, Walter Ray Williams, 5 telecasts last year, 4th at El Paso, 4th in Fresno, 2nd in the Firestone, behind the winner, Del Ballard, who will be bowling here on our telecast today. Top seed in that, but lost 254 to 218. Tom Baker. Got his game face on.
Yes, Chris, he's moving over to check the pin spotting. It's very important to make sure those pins are right on spot when you have a streak going.
8th frame strike for Walter Ray Williams. But he's going against Tom Baker, if you just joined us, who has 7 strikes in a row. It's our first match. Appreciating his perfection through 7, leaving the pesky 10 in the 8th frame.
The solid 10, the 6 just goes flying around it, and I was watching Marshall Holman and Tommy Baker's wife. Marshall was just as disappointed as Tommy was when that 10-pin stood up.
So a little pressure off, rather comfortable lead of 52 pins held by Tom Baker, who set quite a few records. The 1981 Denver Open, 6-game record, 12-game record, 42-game record.
That 42-game record, Chris, is going to be very difficult to beat. Tommy Baker averaged 247 for the entire tournament. That's a lot of sticks.
All right, with a 9-pin, Tom Baker shooting in the 9th frame, as we look at many times, 21-time champion Marshall Holman, one of the 3 recently named Hall of Fame members of the PBA, Joe Berardi, Marshall, and veterans category Andy Martich. Okay, Tom Baker, first game well in hand. We're at the Buckeye Lanes in Ohio, where we'll return in a moment.
Nothing hurts a bowler's performance like an out-of-balance ball. That's why I teamed up with the people at Ebonite to develop the Thunderbolt Dual Block. Its patented weight placement system has a dual weight block to offset the weight removed by drilling with incredible precision, making every roll more stable, every impact more powerful.
The Thunderbolt Dual Block from Ebonite. Whole grain nutrition is important, but only one of these leading cereals has it. Only Wheaties is made with 100% whole grain. Just ask Michael Jordan. Better get your whole grain.
Better eat your Wheaties. It's simple. The bottom line is, when you drink, don't just use your mouth, use your whole head. No joke. Be a responsible drinker. Please, know when to say when.
A reminder from Budweiser. Who's the best on the beam? The finest on the floor? The victor of the vault? Find out at the Women's World Gymnastics Championships. Next on ABC's Wide World of Sport.
Here on ABC, Wide World Next. Exciting show. And next here in our Professional Bowlers Tour telecast, Walter Ray Williams, shooting in the 9th frame, trailing by 51 pins because his opponent had 7 in a row. Hoping for some consolation, but left the baby split the 3-10. Quickly up on the approach. There's his second split conversion of this game. Let's go to Bo Burton.
Thank you, Chris. Jim Pencak, you're going against, looks like Tom Baker, who is really red hot. He can shoot up in the 260s. Any particular game plan when you may have to face a big game like that?
I'm going to take it one frame at a time, as I always do on when I'm bowling on the TV show. And all I can say is make some good shots. If I perform well, I'm going to knock the pins down and I'm going to win the match. If I don't perform well, I may win and I may not. So,
all right, good luck. It'll be a tough match, Chris.
Loose attitude. Jim Pencak and Walter Ray Williams has met a tiger in the first match. He left the 10, and of course, Tom Baker has eliminated Walter Ray Williams. Walter Ray will pick up a check for $6,000. Baker is one step closer to $31,000. We'll have the final score of the first game and the next match after this.
It's time
Time for the True Test Paint Quiz from True Value Hardware Stores. Question 1. What should you look for in a great interior paint? Well, make sure it has beautiful color, lasts for years, and says True Test Easy Care on the label. Question 2. When's the best time to buy? Right now, because you can save on all spatter-resistant True Test Easy Care finishes during spring spruce-ups at participating True Value Hardware stores and home centers.
At Bic, we sympathize with the ways that you pull and stretch your face in search of a better shave. That's why we've created the Bic Metal Shaver. The patented Bic Metal stretches and smooths your skin thanks to its unique metal guard bar, so the shaver glides closely and comfortably. So instead of stretching, start reaching for a Bic Metal Shaver. It stretches your skin for a great shave, and that's no stretch.
I'm finished with women. Done.
A blind girl captures Vinny's heart.
Where are you going?
An all-new special episode of Doogie Howser, MD, after America's Funniest Home Videos. Tomorrow.
Every day, it makes things happen.
Matchmaker, 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 matchmaker.
The matchmaker. The Belle of Pennsylvania Yellow Pages. Every day, it goes to work. Every day, it matches more buyers with more sellers. Every day, we use it, and use it more.
Excuse me, can I use this?
The genuine Belle of Pennsylvania Yellow Pages. No other book can match it. A Bell Atlantic company.
That's a nice simplicity you got there. How old is it?
29.
Wow, and it still runs.
So?
You ever give you any trouble?
Backed the car into it in 66.
Any damage?
Rear bumper on the car.
How about major service?
Every year, change the oil.
Hey, that's good.
I'm 68. I've never had my oil changed.
There's just no substitute for simplicity.
WHTM TV 27, Harrisburg. The Pro Bowlers Tour. Brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By new body heat activated Degree antiperspirant. And by extra strength Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
What promo? Okay, we're back again in Ohio. Tom Baker, a big game, 265, 9 strikes, Walter Ray Williams, 206, so now it's Baker going against last week's winner, Jim Pencak. And along with you, this huge crowd at Buckeye Lanes will watch these two go head-to-head. Top prize here today is $31,000. Next week, it's a little larger, a total of $200,000 at Landmark Lane's True Value Open, Peoria. And then 2 weeks from today, with a big $400,000 BPAA United States Open in the capital city of the Hoosier State.
And Chris, the size of the field this week was the 160, game average 205, about standard for the tour, 211. Here's some of the other finishers. Westlake Taylor is bowling well again. George Brandon III, he's due to make it up there. The Wizard, David, finishing 9th. Hugh Miller, Tommy Kreitz, another solid week for both players. Norm Duke, former champion here, and lefty Tony Marisi, 13th. Big Steve Cook, Parker Bone III, 14th and 15th. Chris Warren and Devers, 16th and 17th. Mark Thayer, good player. Eric Forkel, $1,900. Pete McCordick, Goebel, 21st place. Joe Berardi, Hall of Famer. Don Johnson's young son, Jimmy Johnson, $1,550. Ellenberg, 24th, and Mark McDowell finished 25th. He made the top 24, had to drop out because of flu bug. Ellenberg took his place, Chris.
Okay, match 2 coming up, and Tom Baker will shoot first. Look back up here, and he's very pleased that his first game went as well as it did. 9 strikes, 265, Walter Ray Williams, 206. Here he is on the left lane. That's the way he started in the first game here at Buckeye Lanes, where we've come 17 consecutive years. We're in our 29th year for the Pro Bowlers Tour. This is our 11th stop in a tour of 16 tournaments in our winter tour, and then there'll be 8 more, spring and halfway through the summer. And the national champion has left the 2-5 on his first shot.
A powerful player, Jim Pencak, at 5'10", 195 solid pounds. Now watch how he drops left with his right leg. He lets that left foot come right by the ball. And he has the 2-5 spare.
Jim Pencak, who won the national champion last week, going against the top seed Chris Warren, 223 to 214. Incidentally, Chris, as Bo indicated in the rundown of the top 24, finished 16th as the current money leader, but this man today will become the top money leader. 54 grand last week. Chris Warren has a total of $660 over $70,000, and Jim Pencak has $64,065.
Pencak comes in light and leaves the 2-5-8 difficult spare. Picks up another ball. Should go across lane. Has to watch out for the chopping of the 2-8 off the 5. That's just what happened.
Just that.
You know, we have 3 street players left out here, Chris. We have Pencak, Tommy Baker, and coming up, Del Ballard. Tommy Baker, when he gets hot, can strike with any of them. Pencak, as you see, the wrist of Tommy Baker's with all that grip changes and whatnot due to surgery, is also a real street player.
And the high hit leaves the 3-6. Did not struggle in his first game with 9 strikes, but this is a different situation. Winner of this game, as you look at the 3-6, will meet Del Ballard and then the tournament leader, John Mazza.
Tommy Baker with the cover of the 3-6 can shoot the big numbers. Pencak has quite a streak going for himself. He has won 8 straight games in the championship round. He won the Green Bay tournament last summer, winning all 4 games, and he won all 4 games last week at Toledo for the national championship. The opponent of either winner of this match also goes against the street player Del Ballard, who had a run of 9 straight wins in the championship round. So 3 hot players looking to bowl John Mazza.
Get up, get up.
It's amazing how often they get their wishes granted, isn't it? See, looking at Tom Baker, Budweiser points, where they get 125 usually, but this being the Budweiser Open, points are doubled. Bonicelli in the lead over Brian Voss, Chris Warren, Parker Bone, and Robert Lawrence. Pencak. Back after that open frame with a strike in the 3rd. Pencak with many of his hometown fans here. He's from the suburb of Mayfield Heights. So what we have here, Bo, is a battle of Lake Erie. Buffalo's Tom Baker is Pencak's opponent.
Pencak with his mother and father here. His dad was a 185 average bowler. His mother, Pat, 135 average player. A family sport.
And the 4-pin, not tripped. Liz Pencak.
Kind of wanted that shot to stay right up there with Tommy Baker. He's trailing by 14. With this strike here, he would have cut in the lead down to 4 pins. But Pencak just does not look as sharp as he was last week.
Okay, we're early in our 2nd game, the finals of the Budweiser Open. More after this.
Wood finish for beautiful color like no other, and Minwax polyurethane for fast-drying protection that lasts.
Barbasol gel gives you a super close shave like the other gel, but at a great Barbasol price.
Your Barbasol gel, son. Your change, son.
Barbasol gel. No wonder it appeals to the rich.
she's all ours.
Going into business, got something new. Gonna paint the town, red, white, and blue. Coming through.
Nice place. How about some customers?
Ladies' night.
Great place, guys. Who did your decorating?
Look, everyone, it's the letter P, like in pins. Prize money, Peoria.
All part of the True Value Open on ABC Sports next Saturday?
Precisely.
Next week, the River City of Peoria. Tom Baker won the first game 265 to Walter Ray Williams 206. Shooting in the fourth frame, strike up, leading Jim Pencak by 14. So now with a 24-pin lead, he moves over to the left lane, and we move to Bo Burton.
Thank you, Chris. With me, the man who bowled the semifinal match against one of these two players. Any particular starting lane you're going to pick on, Dell? And I'll just give you a little information. The player that has started the matches this year has only won 38% of the time. What's your game plan?
I'm going to throw my practice balls here in just a few minutes, and then if I feel like I should start on the left lane and finish on the right lane, that's what I'm going to do. If I start the match, I'm just going to go out and really be aggressive and take advantage of anything I can get.
He may go against the percentages, Chris. We'll find out.
Okay, and the Texan will meet one of the two pros going at it now. Baker leaving the 7-pin on the left lane. Had that double working for him. Bowling Jim Pencak, who started slow last week in Toledo, fired up near the end. Okay, tomorrow on ABC, a terrific event to be televised, an exclusive report on one of the most grueling modern-day adventures. Gore-Tex Outwear presenting Trans-Antarctica, the international expedition. 7 months, 4,000 miles, 6 determined men. Watch tomorrow, 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central, Pacific. And Pencak. Will this be the beginning, like last week, where he qualified fourth and came on to win it all?
Well, that's what he did last week, Chris. You know, he started a little bit slowly, and what happened, he got red hot and then finally started really throwing strikes, and right now he needs to make that adjustment. He's standing way over to the left, and watch how he'll drift over in this area, then roll the ball right between the third and fourth arrows. Big shot here in the match.
Jumping on the opportunity. Very consistent professional. Last week, this week, he was never worse than 7th in this field of 160.
That's what a national championship and $54,000 will do for you.
That helps, doesn't it?
Loosens that swing up.
Makes
Tommy,
us all more competitive, doesn't it?
Well, that's for sure.
The green stuff.
It makes it fun.
Spare up.
Tommy.
Another 10 on the right lane for Tom Baker of Buffalo.
Baker, just a nice, smooth player. Likes the lanes, as I said, very slick. He likes to keep the slow speed. He doesn't overpower the pins. Has changed to a lower surface friction ball to slide it across the lane to convert to 10.
Oh, just did get it. There have been reports that Tom Baker would retire. Well, here's what he had to say about it.
I made the statement, Bo, because the first part of this year I was really struggling. I have a wrist problem that I'm missing a piece of bone in my wrist, and it definitely hampers me when I bowl. And I was bowling so bad, I had really second thoughts of why I'm really out here. I reverted back to my old style the last 2 weeks, and it really helped out, and here I am today.
And now a 10-pin on the left lane.
One thing with Tommy Baker, he doesn't have a lot in reserve like he had when he first came out in the tour in the late 70s and early 80s. When he was leaving weak 10s like that, he had plenty of strength in that wrist to put an extra revolution on the ball. Now he has to do it with speed control. He has to back off that speed a little bit.
Okay. We're in Ohio, an 11-pin lead by Tom Baker.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do it right. Chicken right.
Life's full of simple pleasures, like the comfort of Levi's jeans. Had you forgotten?
Olympic medalists Matt Biondi and Robbie Gaines join America's top swimmers in a dramatic head-to-head match race challenge. Next on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Wide World next. Beauty of gymnastics, competitiveness of the great sprint swimmers. Here's Pencak. Double working, trails by 11.
The overfed view shows you how far left he was in the approach, and then he's just a dynamics of a perfect strike. Pencak with a lot of power drives the ball through the 1, 3, 5, 8. Here she goes, 1, 3, 5, 8, 9. See you later. Pencak is back in the match. Pencak once again. Watch how he drifts to the left. He starts here. That is very important. He keeps his arm next to his body as he rolls that ball between the 3rd and 4th arrows. Watch that arm swing at the foul line.
Liz Pencak, like her husband, really showed the emotions on their face. Now Tom Baker, big winner in the first game, 265 to 206. Walter Ray Williams.
First time Baker's been behind all day long. Let's see how he reacts.
Like the true professional that he is. Next Saturday, our Professional Bowlers Tour pounces on Peoria as defending champion Wayne Webb joins bowling's biggest names at the $200,000 True Value Open. We begin at 3 Eastern and Pacific, 2 Central. Landmark Lanes. Ray Becker and his group.
One of the great facilities has it all there. Now Baker to regain the lead. 9th frame, trails by 9. A double will give him a 1-pin lead.
And it's a 7 on the left lane.
Baker, with that soft speed, has a high percentage of carry when he hits solid in the pocket or a little bit high. When he hits light, he's looking for a shaker or a wall shot like that. With that slow ball speed, he doesn't quite become as effective as a power player like Pencak.
Well done. Looks like we're having a re-rack now in the right lane at the request of Jim Pencak. 35-year-old Tom Baker, 30-year-old Pencak. Look fine to me, Bo.
Well, sometimes it's just psychological. He's allowed 2 re-racks, and this is a big frame for him. He can take the 19-pin lead with a strike here in the 9th. He must have seen something wrong with that rack, because you see how that ball deflected to the right as it entered the 1-3 pocket, just barely nicked the 5-pin, and luckily the head pin came across and gave it a little oomph to take out the 7. And when a ball like Pencak's deflects when it hits the 1-3, he did see something. His ball would normally just drive right straight through the 5-pin, but he's put himself in a position just to lock up the match here with a strike in the 10th.
Jim Pencak. Just didn't come up. Tried with the body English. Left only the 2-pin.
Pencak looking at the scoreboard. He must make this 2-pin, and he'll lock up the match. Watch this really fortuitous pin action. A pin slides behind the 5-pin. The 5 drops into the 4. and it just makes a real easy spare for him. If he makes this, he'll be in the 220s, and he'll go on to the semifinal.
Jim Pencak, who split a thumb on his bowling end the third game of the 8-game block last night. So some patchwork, Bo, as you often have to do.
Yeah, I saw his thumb before he went out, Chris. He had that old thumb patched all the way around, but it's holding up for 2 more games.
All right, Tom Baker won the first game, and now Jim Pencak has come out of the wings to win the second game, and the opponent will be Del Ballard, and he is tough. Stay tuned.
Today's bowling tip of the week is for that very young junior bowler. So young that he may not even use his thumb and fingers in the bowling ball. They roll it two-handed down the lane. Now with the help of my young budding star here, Johnny Petraglia Jr., we're going to show you how you have a better chance of keeping the ball on the lane and keeping it from drifting off in the gutter. Now if you roll the ball end over end with the thumb and fingers facing the pins, it'll drift left or right because the ball is not completely balanced. You youngsters have a better chance of keeping it on the lane by rotating the ball so the thumb and fingers are facing sideways and the ball rolls down the lane between the thumb and finger holes. John, can you roll a shot for me? Roll it right over that third arrow, pal. Well, looks pretty good so far. Steer it in there. Steer it in there. Come on, stay back in here. Is it coming in? Sensational. 7, 8 pins. That's as good as your daddy. Remember at home, especially your parents, when you have young ones that are still using 2 hands, keep the thumb and finger holes on either side. Let them roll it between those 2 holes. They have a better chance of keeping it on the lane.
ABC Sports brings you the ultimate bowling home video.
Now, let's get on with the action.
Learn how to fix your problems the right way. Improve your game strategy. And practice smarter. It's Bo Burton's instructional video, Score More. Just $24.98 plus $3 shipping. Call 1-800-4ABC-VCR.
Nothing beats number 1. Nothing beats the king of beer. Nothing beats clean, crisp, and cold. This is the best thing you got around here. Yeah. Nothing beats the bud, yeah, nothing beats the bud, yeah, nothing beats the Budweiser. Nothing beats the bud.
To show how Firestone Firehawk tires perform, we occasionally take some of them for a little weekend drive. At the toughest tracks across the country, we race on the same Firehawk SV street tires you can buy. Over 1 million miles now, and still counting. Firestone, watch us. We're on the move.
Great weekend. Sure went fast.
So Jim Pencak in his first try today, 224 with 6 strikes to Tom Baker's 216. Now it is Del Ballard Jr. of Richardson, Texas, who has come in the semifinal game to try to dethrone Jim Pencak, who won in Toledo last week. They're practicing now, and Del Ballard from Richardson, Texas, is an interesting guy, as you will see in this up close and personal. Firestone champion Del Ballard Jr. has always loved bowling, but when he's off the lanes, his attention turns to vintage Fords.
I have a special interest in old Shelby Mustangs. I purchased one in last August, a 67 GT500. It's my little play toy. I like to drive around town and go out and race the little kids, you know, in their Z28s, and like to have fun in it. And that's pretty much my hobby that I channel all my interest into.
When Del's home in Richardson, Texas, he visits his family, which includes 2 of his most loyal fans.
I never give up on him. And my feeling is, oh, well, he's behind, so what? He can always come back, and he usually does.
Oh, I never lose hope in Del winning. I think I'm his best rooter. I really get in there and expect him to win. because I know he can.
Ballard's girlfriend is Kelly McGregor, who is no stranger to the bowling business. Her father, Bob, was the PBA's 1968 Rookie of the Year.
That shoulder strap ever bothered you?
Ballard's 2 pro shops take up some of his time off the tour, but Dell's love of Shelby Mustangs always on his mind. In fact, Dell's analogy of driving and bowling is simple.
Whenever I'm taking my steps, going to the line, it's kind of like, you know, shifting gears. You know, you hit first and then second, just like taking steps, and you try to make them as smooth as possible, you know, so you don't miss a gear or whatever. You just try to, you know, keep it the same rhythm.
On the lanes or the pavement, Ballard remains fluid and fast, for wherever he goes, Del Ballard Jr. is king of the road. Okay, Del Ballard and Bo, once you have a Shelby GT500, you are spoiled for life. And one of our consistent viewers is Mr. Carroll Shelby himself. Out in Hollywood, Los Angeles, he never misses a telecast.
Well, he'll enjoy this match between 2 fast-rising stars here and tough guys. Jim Pencak, Del Ballard Jr. semifinal.
Didn't get the break he wanted with the 7-pin on the left. Jim Pencak had to sell his Harley-Davidson to get some money some time ago out here on the tour, but he made enough now with 2 victories to buy one back. He says he has a Harley soft tail. Now, I'm not sure what that is.
Well, it probably goes pretty good. Those Harleys are good cycles.
Okay. So in our semifinal game, the winner to meet the tournament leader, John Mazza of Mount Clemens, Michigan, looking for his first title.
This is, excuse me, Chris, this is one of the best styles in all professional bowling right here, Del Ballard.
All right. The 10 in the middle, the 5.
We got close.
Talking to himself, he said he's close. As you see him rock and stay smooth, much like Marshall Holman, the closest style to Marshall Holman, and actually I think he's even a little smoother than Marshall. He stays behind the ball a little bit longer, lets that wrist roll right under it, but doesn't quite stay as low as Marshall at the line.
All right. Shifted into a slower gear to cover that 5-pin. Del Ballard, listen to this. His first win was in the 1987 United States Open in Seattle. His second title, the Brunswick World Open in Chicago.
The good style of Del Ballard. Now watch how he'll walk almost at what we call a parallel line to the foul line. He'll walk here, he'll walk at the foul line, and roll right along a parallel line. Great style.
Yeah. All right. Wearing a wireless microphone, Del Ballard. And now to Jim Pencak, who marked with spare in the first. If you just joined us, he defeated Tom Baker 224-216.
Overhead view. Watch the style, the power of Pencak. Second frame.
Crossing over, leaving the 6.
A little bit of a wry smile on Pencak's face. He missed so far, it almost came out good. As you see how he climbed to the top 5, 42 games, the first 3 rounds qualifying of 18, the last 3 rounds, 24 games of match play.
Here's the man that will become the leading money winner on tour by virtue of his $54,000 last week and whatever he does from here on. Speaking of leaders, the world's best gymnasts, including our own Brandy Johnson, whom I had a great chance to visit with at the Sullivan Awards this year. She was one of the 10 finalists. Matt Biondi, swimming in the sprint championship. Big stars. So is Jim Pencak. His first strike, 3rd frame.
These 2 players have a lot of things in common. They've making a lot of money on the Pro Tour. They've won major tournaments. They're power players. And they also have both had a streak of 9 straight wins in the championship round. As you see the overhead on Ballard.
Little high. As a result, 4-6-7.
Del Ballard, you could see, sent that ball very wide. And if he had gone a little bit wider, he would have just chopped off a few pins, but he's left himself the 4-6-7. All he can do is get the ball in this area and hopefully slide a pin over into the 6. About as close as you can come without making it, Chris.
Now trailing by 11 pins. He's shooting in the 4th now. And our tournament leader, left-hander, John John Mazza continues to practice staying loose off to the right.
Hook it.
Hook it, and it did just that. We're in the semifinal game, 11 pins separating these two pros. Be right back.
I got this up. It's just on a bar. Why?
Now, for every time life turns up the heat,
I told you we wouldn't know anybody.
a new kind of antiperspirant, Degree.
Total strangers.
I see that.
New Degree is body heat activated. Every time your body heat rises, Degree kicks in with extra protection. Precisely when you need it most, Degree has you covered.
It's about time.
New Degree protects you most when you need it most.
This weekend, we were supposed to take up a new sport.
Mountain climbing.
Yeah, boy, I was really looking forward to hanging off an 8,000-foot cliff by my fingernails. Then I found out I could get a free game of bowling and a chance to win up to $100,000 in the A&W Road to Riches sweepstakes. So this weekend, it's A&W root beer and cream soda, our favorites, and some real fun bowling.
Next weekend, skydiving.
Look for the A&W free bowling display.
Their incredible adventure is over, but the full story is yet to be told. Now the final chapter. Gore-Tex presents Transantarctica tomorrow on ABC Sports.
It's cold in Cleveland, but not like Antarctica, believe me. Here's a warm man, Jim Carney Jr., proprietor of Buckeye Lanes, where we've come 17 consecutive years. Jim Pencak, strike up, can increase his lead to 21. Here's the shot. What a competitor. So is Bo Burton Jr.
Thank you, Chris. With me is a man who has a chance to live out a dream. John Mazza making his first championship round appearance. And John, I've been around you for years. You've worked hard at this game. One shot. What's going through your mind?
One ball at a time. Every frame's a game. Keep it simple. I bowled good this week because I let my ability come to the occasion. I kept it simple. When I get on the approach, I just want to make the swing. Think before I throw the shot, and that's it.
20 minutes from now, your fate will be determined. Good luck.
And the swing of Jim Pencak left the 10-pin on the left lane. Remember, he usually starts a little shaky, as he did in the last match, but he bowled at 224 to Tom Baker's 216. Still leads by 20. Now going a little to the left of center. Cross lane. Gone is the 10. Now Del Ballard is up. He has a strike working for him now in the 5th frame of this next to last game.
Talking to Del Ballard during that little commercial break, he said he had a little trouble with that ball return on this right-hand lane.
Come on. Yeah. So that cuts the lead to 10. We talked to Del earlier, and we got him talking about getting out of a current slump.
I have not really been bowling that well lately because whenever I usually go home and bowl, I bowl a lot of action, bowl people for money, and lately I haven't been able to do that. I just go home and sit around the house and watch TV and haven't been able to bowl anybody. And this last weekend we bowled a special Pro-Am in Detroit, and Pete Weber and I bowled across the house from lane 1 to 20 and then back from 20 to lane 1, and it really got my adrenaline flowing and got me really pumped up.
And he is just that, putting together 3 in a row, Bo.
And the style he used, Chris, he just ripped those pins apart. Bang. And there's another player who can rip them apart as the match is all even through 5.
Fair up. Coming up high, 6-10.
Jimmy Pencak has got his footwork off a little bit here. We see him drift left and right on the approach in our overhead view. And what happened there, he drifted to the right and never came back to the left. And so he's always going to pull the ball across his body when that happens. As you see the overhead. Now watch him drift to the left on his last step. Now when he doesn't do that, Chris, he's got to pull the ball left of his target. That was a perfect shot at the spare.
Another tip. from Bo Burton. I enjoyed your tip today with those young bowlers. Cute youngsters.
Well, they make bowling balls so light today, I think down to just 5 pounds at almost any age. If they can walk, they can play. This young man started bowling at the age of 5. His first game was 32.
Got only 9.
The 10 pin's a little bit tougher shot here with this oil pattern that we showed. It went top of the show. We showed the oil pattern where there's oil on the last 7 boards. If a player sends it too wide, it's going to slide off in the gutter, and if he pulls it across the center, it'll hook by the pin. So it's more of a precision shot with this oil pattern.
Oh, disaster. Missing the 10 pin. Loss of concentration. Tough break for the national champion, Jim Pencak.
And that's that oil pattern. You watch this as he sends the ball out, and normally it'd hook back, but we said there's oil on the top last 7 boards, and so he slides by leaving the 10 pin. And this leaves Jim Pencak in a rear by 14 pins. He's got to come back in the last 3 frames.
Man, what a day. I could sure use a vacation.
Yeah, I'd like to be right here.
Ice cold bud.
Hey, maybe tomorrow we should bring the boss.
Nah. Do you like chicken? Like Wendy's whole breast of chicken filet sandwich, our chicken club with bacon, and chicken parmesan with mozzarella and tomato sauce. You do? Then come to Wendy's for the best chicken sandwiches in the business.
I don't worry about the quality of parts my mechanic uses. Put in whatever's cheapest, son. I'm going to get rid of it once the ashtrays are full anyway.
Quality service starts with quality parts, and your Big A Pro's got them. So look for the sign of the Big A Pro.
Look, everyone, it's the letter P, like in pins. Prize money, Peoria.
All part of the True Value Open on ABC Sports next Saturday?
Precisely.
It's always great to work with the Budweiser Pro Sports Marketing Coordinator, Charlie Hodges, one of the talented members of Mike Rorty's staff.
Get it.
He really wanted that baby.
The lanes following absolutely the profile that we laid out for them. When they're slick, as you see Ballard's ball drifting a little high, leaving the 4-pin. When they're slick, as it was in the early match, a lot of strikes. As the lanes begin to hook more and more on the right side, the scores go down slightly, and we don't see the big strings. It's going to be very interesting into this match, into the final.
Remember, Del Ballard is only 26 years old, 8 years a PBA member, 5 titles, the U.S. Open, the Firestone, ABC Masters, the Brunswick World Open. What a career already.
He doesn't mess with them unless they're real big. Right now, 13-pin lead, 8th frame.
Ten on the left lane.
Well, see how Ballard handles the 10-pin. Pencak has given him a nice, comfortable 13-pin lead by missing the 10-pin in the 7th frame. See if Ballard takes a little cue from Pencak and goes straight at the 10-pin. Doesn't mess out with a wide shot.
Player for Richardson, Texas, Del Ballard Jr. Now Pencak, after that open frame, shooting in the 8th. Duke eliminating Connecticut 79-78. Final in overtime. Oh, big, powerful one. So he's looking up at the overhead score sheet because he'll be stroking in the 9th frame.
Time to do it for Jim Pencak. He has won 9 consecutive games, as you see his reaction in the championship round. He won 4 in a row, Green Bay last summer, taking the title, 4 in a row last week. He's won his first match this week. Can he make it 10 in a row with a victory over Ballard? This is the key shot.
That's a competitor.
Some tough guys out there bowling, Chris. Del Ballard doesn't give in. Jim Pencak. These guys are tough. They paid their dues on a tour. They know how hard it is to make money. They don't want to let any of it slip through their fingers. Now, Ballard, can he answer?
Hard ball. Yeah. Yes, sir. Best finish this year for Del was 4th at Merritt Island. Last year, 6 telecasts, 3 titles, including back-to-back wins at Las Vegas and Grand Prairie.
This is what makes the difference between being a big star, making a lot of money on the Pro Bowlers Tour, and staying out here a few years and going home. Can you perform in the 10th frame in the championship round? One of these two players has to outperform the other to win this game.
Oh, you've got to be kidding.
Oh, what a bad break. The players out here call that a paralyzer shot. He basically rips the 5-pin out, but the head pin comes off the sideboard and stands it up. Del Ballard will watch the pin action. Watch the head pin. It goes to the left sideboard. It hits the 4. The 4 drives the 5 back up off spot.
Can't afford to go away from these telecasts because frame by frame there's always something different. We're at the Buckeye Lanes, North Olmsted, Ohio, finals of the $160,000 Budweiser Open.
Very important for Del Ballard to get 9, 8, or a strike on this ball. It'll force Pencak to strike.
That's what he wanted on the previous shot. Didn't get it.
Jim Pencak looking at the scoreboard. He must strike on this ball to win the match. Anything less than a strike, and it's Del Ballard against John Mazza.
If you lose this game, it's $8,500. If you win, you have a shot at 31 grand.
Tell you what, you can't walk down the lane 60 feet and place the ball any better than Jim Pencak just did on that shot. And Del Ballard's got to feel bad because he threw a shot equally as well and just got a bad break in the 10th frame. It's going to be Pencak against Mazza for the title.
That's what he's been doing 2 consecutive weeks, capping off his games with strikes. ABC Sports presentation of Professional Bowlers Tour will be back after these messages and a word from our local station.
People who want that competitive edge also want the nutrition of 100% whole grain. But of these leading cereals, only Wheaties is made with 100% whole grain. So only Wheaties gives you whole grain nutrition. Better get your whole grain.
You better eat your Wheaties.
To get rid of her gray, my wife can spend 40 minutes. But I discovered the 5-minute hair coloring.
The revolutionary discovery called Just for Men from the leader in men's hair coloring. Simply apply Just for Men and in 5 minutes shampoo out.
Gray is blended away. The look of my natural color is back in 5 minutes. That was me, and it won't fade or wash out.
My hair takes forever, but you look great in just 5 minutes.
The look of your natural color in just 5 minutes with Just for Men.
Hi, this year the world is coming to Oscar, so get there early because the world takes up a lot of seats, so you can see better.
Monday, the 62nd Annual Academy Awards, live.
Win with the Lilac.
Everybody wins when you bowl in the fastest-growing tournament in the world. Call 1-800-36-LILAC and win. We're planning to pay over $900,000 in 14 great events. Enter the men's, women's, and mixed events. And
win with the Lilac.
Enter now. There's team, doubles, and singles events. Everybody wins with a great time at the Lilac. Bowl in the fastest growing tournament with over $900,000 in prizes. Call now and
Win with the Lilac.
A perfect game starts with the perfect equipment, and Bowler Supply is right up your alley. Select from bowling balls such as Vector, Hammer, Thunderbolts, and more. Personalized fitting and custom drilling to improve your game. Check out the colorful selection of bags, shoes, and apparel. For the pool player, rack them up on a new billiard table. Choose from in-stock tables or have one custom crafted to complement your decor. We stock accessories, too. For all your billiard needs and the largest inventory of bowling supplies in Central PA, visit Bowler Supply, 401 Carlisle Avenue, York.
John Reppitz has the score and more on sports, only on 27 News.
Frank Efford once again from New York, updating you on the basketball scene in the Eastern Regional of the NCAA tournament this afternoon. Christian Lattner of Duke University hit a jump shot at the buzzer to lead the Blue Devils to a 79-78 victory over Connecticut. Duke becoming the first team to advance to the Final Four. Now, if you weren't with us earlier, Monica Seles defeated Judith Wiesner 6-1, 6-2 in the women's final of the Lipton International Players Championships. And tomorrow on ABC Sports, we'll have the men's final featuring Andre Agassi and Stefan Edberg. Now, don't forget, coming up next on ABC's Wide World of Sports, the Women's World Gymnastics Championships, plus Olympic gold medalist Matt Biondi and world record holder Tom Jaeger among those competing for the title of world's fastest swimmer. You'll see it live at the U.S. Swimming Sprint Championship. Right now, let's rejoin Chris Schenkel for today's final match.
Okay, Frank, the final score of the semifinal game, 224-206. And before we say another word, we'd like to welcome the newest member of the New York Giant football team, Cody Newton-Gifford. Welcome to the world. You got a great mom and dad and Kathy and Frank and Pops. We're very proud of you back in New York. Bo? Great performance.
That is great, Chris, and keeping up with our Young Strikers portion where we try to feature some of the young players around the country. I'd like to congratulate Linda Norrie of San Jose State University and David Carter of William Patterson College in New Jersey. They were named Female and Male Collegiate Bowlers of the Year, respectively. PBA and Ebonite International combined toward awarding $8,000 in scholarship to the winners and to the 4 runners-up in each category.
And collegiate bowling growing and growing. And they're coming out on tour after their college days. Here is John Mazza of Mount Clemens, Michigan. 26 years old, the only lefty in this field of 5. Looks good.
Chris, John Mazza is living a dream. I have gone out and practiced a few times in the tour in the last couple of years, and no matter where you go, John Mazza is practicing. He is determined to make himself a good bowler. This is his first championship round appearance. He's going against the hottest player in all of bowling right now. Jim Pencak has won 10 consecutive championship games.
Looks like a linebacker, but he did not play football, much to the chagrin of Art Modell, I'm sure, in the Cleveland Browns, because he's a competitor, it's obvious.
Yes, he is, and he's paid his dues on the tour also. Now let's see how Pencak is playing the lane. Once again, he's starting around the middle, what we call the 20th board. He'll slide in the left corner and watch his trajectory right down the center between the 3rd and 4th arrows. Needs this for the early lead.
There is immediate pressure put on the non-winner, John Mazza. John, one of 26 left-handers that started in the field of 160.
Last year, all 5 competitors in the championship round were left-handed. John Mazza is the only survivor of 7 lefties in the top 24.
He's not intimidated. Mike Albee, who won the last 2 events here at Buckeye Lanes, had to withdraw.
Yes, he did. He had a foot injury, Chris, and as we watch Mazda's style, he has that inside-out swing. He likes the inside line. Notice how close he came to his right leg. Follow through right down the target line. This young man has excellent form, well practiced, and he is determined.
Brian Voss, who won the other Budweiser Classic event, finished 98.
Come on, come on, come on.
Oh, that's 3 in a row. Top seeds have won 8 of the 10 telecasts that we presented to you.
John Mazza, reminiscent of Bob Benoit, 1988 Quaker State. First time in a championship round, came out with a 300-game Mazda. Strikes through the first three, as you see the overhead on the contender, Jim Pencak.
Punch and counter punch right here at Buckeye Lanes in North Olmsted, Ohio. Final match, 31 to the winner, 16 to the runner-up.
The key lane for Jim Pencak is this left lane. He has 6 strikes on the left lane today and 13 on the right. So he's twice as good on 22 as he is on 21. Let's see how he handles 21 here. Fourth frame, we're all even.
Straight strikes, 4 by Pencak, 3 by Mazza. Don't go away because we'll come back.
Nothing beats number 1. Nothing beats the king of beer. Nothing beats clean, crisp, and cold. This is the best that you got around here. Nothing beats the bud, yeah, nothing beats the bud, yeah, nothing beats the Budweiser. Nothing beats the bud.
I use pressure-treated lumber and still have expensive water damage. Why?
Even treated wood needs Thompson's Water Seal. It penetrates to protect wood, brick, and concrete from water damage. Thompson's the first name in lasting protection.
Is your car shaking, rattling, or rolling? Whether it's alignment, shocks, or struts, Midas uses top technology to diagnose the problem and top technicians to fix it. For suspension or alignment, nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
You're looking at 26-year-old John Mazza, Mount Clemens, Michigan. First championship round ever. This game for the title.
Come on, come on.
And 4 in a row. Earlier, we got John talking about the catalyst that helped him to the top here.
Well, Bo, I met Hugh Bray, who is the team psychologist for the Detroit Red Wings in 1988, and he worked with my mental game, and I began to realize that even though I knew I had the ability, that my mind was kind of slowing me down. I was outthinking myself on the lanes. He kind of simplified things a little bit for me, and here I am today.
The motto, keep it simple.
Come on, baby.
5 in a row.
Chris, I'm amazed. John Mazza, that is just wonderful performance through 5 frames. No matter what happens the rest of the day, he's proven his point. He's never been in a championship round. He doesn't look a bit shook by anything. No perspiration on the brow. Very confident going against a man who hasn't missed yet, Jim Pencak.
5th frame, championship match. String, ends at 4, 10-pin.
10-pin was the undoing of the 4 strikes in a row for Pencak, and it was almost his undoing in the last match. As you see his reaction, as you see the pins in the cutaway, Pencak missed the 10-pin last game, and it almost cost him. He needs to make it here to stay close to Mazza.
That time it came up enough to cover the 10-pin. Next week, True Value Open, $200,000. And should someone there bowl a perfect 300 game, they double the ante, 200 grand.
Not so bad.
Buy a few Shelbys, wouldn't it? Jim begging for that pin to take out the 4.
Point of rule, if that pin had knocked over the 4-pin and been assisted by the machine coming down, it would have been reset. The machine cannot assist in the pinfall. As you see the 6-pin rolling across, Pencak needs this to stay trailing by 12 pins.
Bo, with our videotape replay count, to determine the touch.
Sometimes it's been very close that they might have been able to use it. Now here's a young man. First time championship round has been perfect.
Come on, come on, come on, come on!
Left with that. Mom and Dad, Ingeborg, and Anthony Mazza.
John, with a very simple attitude, come on, and all of a sudden it comes too much.
Well, he put some smoke on that shot. Good-naturedly taking it, but you know that the butterflies are working there.
That changes the whole match, may shake his confidence. That big donut there in the 6th frame, that big 0. If he had struck on that ball, he would have had a 22-pin lead, and now he trails by 6. 28 pins on that shot. As you see, Mazda starting in the center, he'll go almost straight to the line and be right between the 2nd and 3rd arrow.
Come on, Bear!
Boy, does he cheer. He doesn't need a megaphone, and he is not even mic'd. Good set of pipes, good strong left arm, a lot of bowling skill. Coming back, oh, that showed me a touch of class.
Yes, sir, and there was a little bantering going on in the approach. Jim, on the seating area, Jim Pencak wanted that seat on the right. Mazda tried to take it and kind of pushed him out of the way. And they're playing for a lot of bucks out there, and they're not playing real nice right now.
This guy's remarkable. 1-4 last week. Liz.
Tell you what, Jim Pencak has paid his dues on the tour. I've seen that young man practice. I saw him when he was down to his last dollar, trying to make it out here in the tour. And you can tell that he has paid his due. Come on, ball. He knows what that money means. Right now he has a chance to take a 16-pin lead.
He gets strong. Started strong and finishes strong. Well, John Mazza now. The strike up in the 7th, Bo. Shooting in the 8th.
Yes, I can tell by your voice that you know this is a key frame. He must answer the challenge of Jim Pencak with his overhead shot. He needs a strike.
Leaving the 6-10.
Well, both shots going wide. Look like they're not going to get back to the pocket. Then the sharp break back to the left. He almost leaves the 4-6-10, trips out the 4, almost gets a great break on the 6, but it's an easy spare. But through 8 frames, he'll trail by 16, as you saw his climb to the top. Never really headed after the first 18 games of qualifying.
Oh, my God.
You heard him say, oh, my gosh. That was mild, that comment.
Once again, Mazda makes a little mistake. So John sends the ball down the center, doesn't get the break in the right-hand corner. We've seen a lot of balls slide by. No different from Mazda on that shot. Now he trails by 28. He can't believe it.
Man that, in order to get in this Budweiser Open, had to qualify on Monday.
On the Rabbit Squad.
Didn't get that shot when you needed it most.
Everything in Jim Pencak's favor. He has the experience, he has the momentum, and he's on his good lane. He has struck twice as many times today on this lane as he has on the left-hand lane, and he can close the door with a strike here in the 9th. Not to be the 4-pin. A spare here would put Pencak at a 237 pace. He would just need a mark in the 10th frame as his wife is squeezing those hands, hopefully to squeeze that 4-pin out. A spare here in the 9th, a mark in the 10th, and he would be the winner.
There have been 20 professionals that have won back-to-back victories. Jim Pencak, is trying for, not trying, but if he should win, would be a double winner this year, first time, because we've had 10 different winners. And the heartbreak on the face of John Mazza.
Pencak doesn't get the right feel on the ball. You know, he has the wrong ball. He picked up his spare ball. This puts the clock in force. If he happens to go by the 25 seconds, he'll just receive a warning. No penalty. He needs a strike or a spare for the title. I don't think he's worried about that shot clock. In fact, he's going to get buzzed.
Hometown fans showing their appreciation, but he is ever so careful here in this final match. 31 to the winner, 16 for second.
Just needs 2 pins on 2 balls, and there'll be no problem with that. He got a warning in that 10th frame for too much time, but he doesn't care.
Grateful winner. A very sad but gracious runner-up. Liz is happy, I guess.
Two great weeks for Jim Pencak, but runner-up John Mazza has to be proud of his performance also. First time in a championship round, made one little mistake, and he happened to make it against the hottest guy in professional bowling right now, Jim Pencak.
And he is only $5,000 away from having earned $100,000 this year. 247 for Pencak, who has won the Budweiser Open. There is Liz showing her appreciation. 54,000 last week, 31 today. All right, let's go back to New York, and here's Dad, Frank Gifford.
That'll be a new #1 draft pick, Chris. Coming up next on ABC's Wide World of Sports, the finest gymnasts in the sport meet at the Women's World Gymnastics Championships. Plus, Olympic gold medalist Matt Biondi and world record holder Tom Jaeger are among those vying for the title of world's fastest swimmer. You'll see it live at the U.S. Swimming Sprint Championship. We'll return to more bowling right after this.
When I was a boy, we only ate chicken on Sunday. Now people want to eat chicken every day. So Wendy's has a lot of different chicken sandwiches. Our whole breast chicken filet, our chicken club with bacon, and our chicken parmesan with rich tomato sauce and mozzarella. That's that Italian cheese. My daughter Wendy said, Dad, chickens are happening. Chickens are happening.
Yes. Come into Wendy's. We've got the best chicken sandwiches in the business.
I remember when I was a young man, my father telling me about the Yakima Indians. Their culture and history were one of America's greatest glories. Well, now I got the time to see it for myself. Of course, affording it's another matter. I wasn't sure I could make it, but AARP helped with discounts on hotels, motels, even the car I rented. So here I am. And you know what? My father was right.
AARP, making a difference. When you've got your power stroke going, you've got confidence that nothing's going to beat you. Introducing Power Stick, the new antiperspirant that gives you 24-hour odor and wetness protection in just one wide stroke. It takes 2 strokes of the leading stick to match Power Stick's 1-stroke protection, 24-hour protection. In just 1 stroke. New Power Stick from Fabergé.
Well, the hometown fans are happy, Mr. Pencak.
I'll tell you, I said it earlier this week that it was a dream come true from the earliest time when I wanted to be a pro bowler, to make the show in your hometown and then again win in your hometown. And it's been a long time, and I brought it back to Cleveland here, and I hope everybody's proud of me because I'm proud of the support that they gave me.
Well, you and Liz will be very proud at looking at the monitor here. $31,000 check that goes along with the $54,000 of last week, but we're going to give you a chance to catch your breath because we're going to go to Bo Burton.
Thank you, Chris. You have a great winner out there, but I think we have a great runner-up. John Mazza, I think you bowled great in your first chance. You started off very well, then the 6th frame, kind of a disastrous shot. What happened? What went through your mind?
You ever see a horse at a racetrack and he stalks and, you know, he balks, and that's it. Well, I got around about the third turn there, and I got hit by another horse, and that's about it. But I'll get back up, pick myself up. It was a great week. I love bowling in Cleveland. I'll be back next year, and I'll learn from this, and I'll become a winner because of it.
John, you will win. It's a great show, and Chris, you have a great champion out there, 2 in a row.
Right. 2 in a row, first double winner this year. Jerry Mullane, Budweiser division manager, has magnificent trophy. Jim Carney Jr., our proprietor here, with the check. So, gentlemen, why don't you hand it to these 2 lovely people?
Yeah, maybe we should give her the check.
Barry?
Congratulations.
Jim, a great win in front of your hometown fans and in front of the people at Budweiser. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
How is that thumb?
It's a little beat up right now, but I patched it up as best as possible. I'm not new to pain like that, so I've had broken up hands before, so it's been, you know, I made it through. I don't know if I'm going to be bowling next week or not, but I'd like to thank everyone at Budweiser for sponsoring the tournament, and everybody out here. You guys give yourself a round of applause because you guys were the best supporters I could ever ask for. Thank you.
They have been tremendous. They've been that way here for 17 years, Jim, that we've been coming here. Liz, a very quick comment from you.
I just want to thank everybody here for supporting Jimmy, and just thanks.
The leading money winner, you're looking at him right now. The first back-to-back and the first double. So you've broken the fact that we've had 10 different winners coming into this one. What are your plans now, quickly?
Spend the money.
No, you're going to Peoria?
I don't know right now.
Go to Peoria. See you later. Jim Pencak, the winner today. Back-to-back win. The executive producer of ABC's Professional Bowlers Tour is Jeffrey Mason. Today's show was produced by Carol Letty. Directed by Larry Cam. Technical Director Les Weiss. Associate Director Jaime Bravo. Technical Operations Manager Murray Schwartz. Assistants to the producer Robin Stratton and Kurt Pfluger.
Next on ABC's Wide World of Sports, individual gold is on the line at the Women's World Gymnastics Championships. Plus, our country's best swimmers go head-to-head in a special match race showdown. The Pro Bowlers Tour has been brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Levi's 505 and 506 jeans.